starting, and it's going to be ZingerXPn versus LunatonePkM. This is the UMBC post-Turkey Day tournament. It's hosted by UMBC. There are non-UMBC students in this as well. GSL Daybreak is our map for the round of 16. Loser picks the next map. LunatonePkM versus ZingerXPn. It's gonna be a team kill. PKM is no longer Lunatone's clan tag, and there's our Zerg player ZingerXPn spawning in the top position as the teal Zerg player. His opponent is gonna be LunatonePkM, our blue Protoss player. So blue versus slightly off blue. And this is going to favor very long-term style games. There's a worker pairing occurring right now for ZingerXPn, so we'll probably see ZingerXPn go for a fast natural expansion, probably a 15 hatch, maybe a 14 hatch, something like that, and possibly LunatonePkM to actually go for a fast expansion. He's going to throw down his pylon down on the low ground, and this will give him a nice positioning towards the late game. He just needs to be sure to scout in case of any sort of roach timing push. But roaches are pretty slow, so it's relatively easy to defend on this map in comparison to other maps, since you are forced to walk the long way around. Good luck, have fun out of LunatonePkM, and good luck, have fun from ZingerXPn as well. ZingerXPn currently building up the drone count. Looks like he may be going for a little bit of an early pool, and there's a pool going down. It's a 12 pool. LunatonePkM taking a poke around here. There's the drone headed to the natural expansion, and LunatonePkM actually did not see the early pool go down, and that drone was actually some trickery from ZingerXPN. Very interesting here. He's even bringing a second drone to make it really look like he wants to take that natural expansion. But he's going to be putting on the pressure early on, and this may cause Lunatone to actually take an early Nexus. He's got that 400 up, and he's going to be taking his Forge next. Hopefully he gets up a cannon first, and where's his probe? His probe is swinging back around. He's going to be scooting into the main. If he notices the timing of the pool being early, he should be suspicious of what's coming up. There's the queen getting started, as well as 6 Zerglings. The probe does scout the pool finished. Doesn't see any gas, and there's the forge coming up for Lunatone. We'll see what his next structure is going to be. Those Zerglings are now popping, and they are going to be able to advance across the field. LunatonePkM, I think his next building may actually be a gateway. Nope, looks like a cannon coming up for LunatonePkM, and he will be able to defend against those Zerglings if he pulls a couple of probes, and the gateway coming up as well. He's trying to close this off as quickly as possible. I think his probe did see the Zerglings advancing across the map, and there's another pylon going to be closing this off a little bit more. The Zerglings are advancing forward. The photon cannon is just about to finish. Looks like the probe will get caught outside, but the pylon does wall this off completely. Nice timing there by LunatonePkM. His cannon finishes as well, and his probe also returning home. Looks like the Zerglings will almost snag it. Looks like the probe will be scooting around the side. The probe's getting pulled off the line to try to chase those Zerglings out of here. It looks like they will be forced to fight in here. They do know there's that cannon up at the front, and that they will not be able to run out of here. Only one probe killed by ZingerXPn. He does have his natural expansion now on the way. Lunatone getting a second gateway up at the front. This will allow him to send out a couple of zealots if he so desires. There's the first zealot being made. It's being rallied to the outside. We'll see if he decides to spend any chrono boost on that to try to take down any of ZingerXPN's structures. He's currently building a lot of drones, as well as getting the double gas. Interesting to see that he delayed that gas so much. A little bit of that Ice Fisher build, or what we know as the Spanishua build, coming out. Getting the gas a little bit earlier than Spanishua usually would, getting out a ton of drones right now. He's oversaturated in his main, but he will be able to transfer that to the natural expansion shortly. More zealots being produced by Lunatone, so he may be going for a little bit of a push once he gets a couple of those guys out here. More Zerglings being made by ZingerXPn. Those will definitely be sent to the front of Lunatone's base to do some spotting. He's even got a Roach Warren on the way. He's going to need that to be able to defend against any sort of Zealot aggression. And there's a drone swinging back over to this expansion. We'll see if he decides to take a fast third base. And the base coming up for ZingerXPn, he's going to be going up to 3 bases and a couple of Zealots now advancing across the field. That Roach Warren is almost complete, and the Chrono Boost being spent on those 2 gateways will allow Lunatone to produce actually a ton of Zealots. And that Cyber Core is so late, 7 minutes, and finally a Cyber Core down. He's going to need those Stalkers out on the field to be able to deal with those Roaches that are now popping down here for ZingerXPn. I think this base will be forced to cancel since ZingerXPn can't actually get any units over to that location as of yet. And the group spread is not quite there yet. The Zealots are beginning to work away on that hatchery, targeting it down. Looks like ZingerXPn not too sure about canceling yet. There's that first Roach coming down the ramp. It's going to try to target down these Zealots. Looks like the Zealots being sent after it. Looks like the few Zealots going to be advancing against those Roaches. Going to be doing some nice micro over there. Looks like this hatch may actually fall. The 3 Zealots here remaining going to be able to do tons of damage. Looks like the drone does cancel at the last second, trying to save it for as long as possible. ZingerXPn, a huge hit to his late game economy, and finally the Warp Gate research being started. All the gas being taken by Lunatone right now. He's got additional gateways coming up in his main. We'll see if he decides to do any sort of follow-up push, since he does have the +1 ground weapons on the way. Lair Tech also coming up. This will allow ZingerXPn to get the detection in case of any Dark Templar. Also possibly to get up some additional tech, maybe going up to Mutas, since he is currently on these 2 bases. No gas at it, so unlikely to see Mutas, but probably to get those upgrades for the Roaches. Roach speed does actually make Roaches faster than Stalkers without blink. And the Zergling here working away at that pylon, and the Zealots returning home to break that down as well. LunatonePkM getting a little bit supply blocked over there. The Zealot does get engaged by the Zealots and will get cleaned up, and his 3rd base is also being constructed. And this puts both players on equal footing in terms of bases. ZingerXPn not quite able to move out across the map with his slow Roaches right now, and he has grabbed the extra gas to be able to go Mutalisk, and he's going to be able to mine that shortly. Spire is on the way, about a 10th complete. Sentry's coming over here to be able to clean up that Overlord. ZingerXPn does see the sentry count here, so I wonder what his reaction to that will be. Possibly to go check for this 3rd base. I don't know if he actually knows about that right now. He is actually in the dark about that right now. Nothing over there to be able to spot. The Zerglings haven't gone over there just yet. The Roaches are now making their way out across the field, and the creep thread is now beginning to connect everything up here. The natural expansion now connected to the 3rd base. Creep tumor is spreading, and the Queen makes her way over there pretty quickly. Roaches and the Zerglings poking out across the map. We'll see if they're able to do any sort of damage here. LunatonePkM staying behind his wall for now, getting out a couple additional cannons at this location. And here comes the Zerglings up to the front. And there they run into the wall. LunatonePkM should be able to hold this off pretty easily. He's bringing his Zealots into position as well. The Roaches, if they run up this ramp, the Force Fields will be able to trap a bunch of those units. It looks like a couple of units do fall for ZingerXPn, but those Force Fields actually allowing him to retreat his army. Both players very even in food right now. Blink is about to finish, and the Mutalisks have popped out, and they will run straight into Blink Stalkers, so I don't know if this is actually going to work out for ZingerXPn. He even spots the Observer that was inside his base, so LunatonePkM definitely knows that those Mutas are on the way. He's throwing up cannons right now inside of his main, as well as additional pylons to power those cannons. Also cannons coming up at the natural expansion, getting those pylons to power all of the extra areas as well. No extra cannons at the 3rd base as of yet. ZingerXPn now getting a somewhat solid food lead. but his units are a lot more flimsy as of this point. There are immortals out in the field, as well as plenty of units to be able to blink and stop those mutas. And here comes a push towards the third base. There are 2 cannons available there, and LunatonePkM also has his gateways ready to warp in. And there comes the push into the third base. The Roaches and the Zerglings doing some hold position action. The 2 cannons being targeted down. And here comes the forces of LunatonePkM. He needs to save this base, or else he will be behind. And here comes the mutas as well. They're going to be joining this fight, going to be targeting down this Nexus. I think it may fall. The Roaches also doing plenty of damage. Looks like the Nexus does fall. The Stalkers blinking in last second. Looks like the majority of this Zerg army will fall, and I wonder if this is going to trigger a counterattack from LunatonePkM, which has secured the food lead once again at 132 to 125. 20 Zerglings and 13 Roaches being made right now. The counterattack is approaching. ZingerXPn's creep. The 4th hatch does get cancelled over here. Lunatone moving forward with his army. No observer to spot to kill off those creep tumors, but it looks like this push will be very strong. Probably try to end the game here. ZingerXPn building up his forces, being as patient as possible. Looks like the forces of LunatonePkM pulling to the backside, checking for an expansion over here as well. He may actually just retreat, but all of his units over here are in kind of an off position. Looks like the Zerg army is swinging around to the side. ZingerXPn is going to be pulling back to deal with this army, and my computer is slowing down the game. That is not good. Here comes the Zerg forces trying to run into a corner. Looks like the Protoss forces will engage the Zerg here. Force fields going down, as well as the Guardian Shield. It will prevent the mutas from doing massive amounts of damage. The Immortals smashing those Roaches to pieces. They have +3 attack. Wow, LunatonePkM really quick on those upgrades. No armor upgrades though. 22 Zerglings being made right now. He needs to add some Zealots to join up with this force. His third base is up and running once again. Even on bases, LunatonePkM with a very strong food lead. He's going to be pushing towards this third base over here. There are spine crawlers in place, but those Immortals with +3 attack will be able to do tons of damage. I'm not sure what he keeps doing coming down to this location. Continuing to check for a base over there. The Immortals leading the charge, and the mutas coming in here as well. These spine crawlers are going to fall so fast. The Zergling is going to be engaging this army here, and the mutas trying to do some damage, but ZingerXPn's food is falling rapidly. His spine crawlers have fallen as well. His mutas getting taken out. GG! And ZingerXPn will get the map choice for Game 2 out of our extensive map pool. First game does go to LunatonePkM, and this is the round of 16 in the UMBC friendly tournament. We'll see what map ZingerXPn picks in just a moment.